Do you want your 99 shops to look like mine? All sold out? Remember, the gyms are daily? Then do I have the video guide for you. First, to unlock Nightmare mode, you have to go back out to the table and choose new difficulty. You cannot go back to challenge mode. Then you just enter. First thing you want to do is go to the shop and buy some gear. We are looking for weapons and accessories. MC weapon is very important. Mint weapon is okay. Then we want Eroi weapon, and then we want Shinku weapon and Shinku accessories. Those are the most important part for setting this thing up. Without Shinku accessories, you can't do this farm. But worry not, if you don't get the Shinku accessories, you can just farm it normally in the same spot. You can just farm the mobs over and over until you do drop her accessories. I farmed a bit of a different spot, but both spot works. Let's get into the gear. For mid, we're gonna get Light Dance, and then we're gonna get the Sunseeker set. Accessories do not matter. For Eroi, we're gonna get the Dayride and then the Shared Ember Dream set. Then for Shinku, we're gonna get the Temporal Flame weapon and then Blessed Nightfall set, and then the Shadow accessories. For MC, you have two weapons, Bright Flame, which is the high DPS one, and then Eclipse Flame, which is the less DPS but higher range. The Eclipse Flame is more laggy than the Bright Flame, but you get a few more mobs. Then we have White Flame and Night Embers as our option. You can also swap it out for Down Bell. This is the key setup. Those two gear sets work with the key setup. Both of them are just fine. You won't see much of a difference. If you don't have any keys, worry not. You can just put in some random mythic accessories just for the stat bonus. We do not actually need the keys for clearing this. Then we just put our 4 set White Flame on instead of the double set. The keys work basically by giving you an extra set bonus for whatever gear you are wearing. So when you have 2 keys, you get 2 set bonuses. For the first clear, we are gonna be on Nightfall and Eclipse Flame. If you wonder what the difference is between the weapons, as I said, one of them has more range and is a bit more laggy but does less DPS. The other one has less range, does more DPS, and is less laggy. Some people might prefer the Eclipse Flame for the extra range, so you might get a few extra mobs, like 5 or so mobs extra, but I prefer the Bright Flame more often for the extra damage. Next up, we are gonna be running Dawn set with Eclipse Flame. You might see me starting to use some Eroi ults. You can use some Eroi ults after you have stacked Shinku passive up enough, and it's gonna make it a lot faster if you just use 1 or 2 of her ults doing the clearing of the Scorpion. As you can see, the first Scorpion fell down pretty fast. You can run down here and aggro the spider to try and get some extra dodge in case your buff falls off. You can also stand here in the corner to try and hit the mobs on the other side of the wall, to reach mobs you can't reach normally. Next one is gonna be no keys and Eclipse Flame. So if you have no keys, don't worry, you can get it done just fine. How to get the keys? Well, you get the keys by just killing the Scorpions here. Any boss in Nightmare mode can drop the keys. I know the Dragon can also drop the keys in challenge mode. So if you want the keys, you just have to do this farm and you will get the keys eventually. The keys does speed up your damage a bit, but it's not game breaking. I mean, you can see this clear is just fine without any keys. It doesn't look that bad. It should be a little bit slower without keys, but honestly, Shinku is doing most of the damage on this clear. So as long as you get the Shinku accessory and weapon, you should be just fine. Next up we have no keys, but now with Bright Flame weapon. This should be even faster than before, as the weapon is a little bit extra damage. You can see how fast the Scorpion goes down. First one is always a bit faster than the second one. I'm trying to get some dodges here. I got one. I'm just gonna EY ult, see if I can get a few of those mobs. And then run back to the campfire a few seconds after to reset. It's faster to reset the mobs than stay for them all to die. Now we are doing Nightfall plus Bright Flame. And you can see how fast it really goes. You can see with keys it's a little bit faster to kill the Scorpions, definitely. Especially if you use EY ult as well. The first two with keys was a little bit slower clears because we weren't using EY ult. You should get around 2.3k coins. That is everything. If you wanna know how to set up the Shinku, I can show you here. You just keep dodging on the first round. On the second round you should already be fast enough to start doing the second room, but on the first round you're just gonna do the first room only and then reset. It is pretty simple. Keep in mind there is people that have experienced crashes, so if you are crashing, try maybe a different gear setup. I've only crashed once and it was with the buggy weapon. It was with the Nightfall and Eclipse Flames setup. I have never actually crashed on any other setup. At least not yet. So now you do one floor and then you go back. And then you redo it. And now you should already be fast enough to do the second room. And then once you get a few more stacks, then you can start using EY ult at the same time to speed up the progress even more. That is the gist of it on how you stack it first. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me down below. That is everything for this video. Hope it helps out and hope you enjoy. And see you next time.